Last week, Montana's governor for the state is scheduled to go into effect next year. It's already facing legal challenges, though. CNET senior editor Nick Wolny is here with more. And Nick, that's what I thought immediately is, okay, I mean, they're the first state to do it. It's going to get tied up in court for quite a while.
Yeah, absolutely. It was immediately challenged, even though it's planned to go into effect January 1st of next year. Governor Greg Gianforte, he signed Senate Bill 419 on Wednesday, largely banning TikTok from the state of Montana. Yeah,
so that's, how can one state do this?
People are freaking out a little bit. The Attorney General noted that it was going to be very similar to how online gambling gets regulated, certain apps, so on state lines and things like that. The number one thing for consumers to know right off the bat is that even though there will be a fine after this law goes into effect, the fine is not for the user. So you're okay. You're not going to get fined $10,000, which is the proposed fine, if you look at a cat video on TikTok.
Then who does get fined?
Apple and Google will get fined, or other providers, because they're allowing their technology to enable you downloading TikTok within state lines.
So instead of going into their store, they want it removed from the stores, basically.
Exactly. And also within Senate Bill 419, it's not super clear things like, well, if you had TikTok on your phone and then you went over state lines and then you looked at something, what happens there?
Yeah.
And so there's some legalese to work through on that side anyway. There has been some commentary that perhaps the bill is a little bit performative, particularly since as we were talking at the break, it's one state and not the whole country.
Not the whole country. Yeah. It is interesting, though, because, you know, you look at the federal government has told employees they can't have TikTok on their devices. Right. It is owned by China, the app is, and there's this whole idea that China could end up with all of our data, and that's a very, scary situation.
Right.
So what should consumers know about how TikTok handles data?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing that's important to remember is we've never been in this situation before where we have a very popular app collecting a lot of data that is based in a country that the federal government has deemed, quote, a foreign adversary. That is the federal government's definition of China. And so in terms of not being super clear about what kind of data handling is happening there, TikTok's CEO appeared in front of Congress in March. There's just a lot of concern about how that data is potentially being used. Also, what kind of interference might potentially happen in the future to influence TikTok users.
Well, that was the big concern, with all of social media during the election cycle, is that these foreign adversaries could get in and start skewing, algorithms and things to certain candidates. So there's real repercussions potentially.
Right, exactly. And so I think that although there is some potential transparency there, this was also something that came up with the Trump administration a couple years ago when President Trump was demanding a sale of TikTok. It's also a possibility that TikTok could divest the U.S. part of its operations to a United States-based company, then it's U.S. data being only consumed by a U.S.-based company. That is a possibility in the future, or if it comes to that, that may be something that potentially comes up. TikTok and its parent company ByteDance, they have vehemently denied that there is any data mishandling happening, but what we also know is that TikTok has flip-flopped in the past on things like on saying that all of their users are over the age of 13.
Right, exactly.
Well, you just have to say that you're over 13 when you sign up in order to do that. And so in terms of seeing what that looks like, we're just going to have to see what happens.
Well, and it's interesting because this is an issue where both political parties have come out and have taken a stand in the same manner, saying you shouldn't really have this on your phone. Right. Everybody seems to be on board. What are some actions consumers can do to protect themselves then in these cases if they still want to use the platform?
Right. With many different social media apps, I think it's important to know that you can ask that app not to track. This is a fairly new feature. You can ask an app not to track that. As soon as you open up the app, you usually see it, particularly on iOS, you'll see it pop up right away. Just ask the app not to track, and that'll limit the tracking information there. You want to think about what you're sharing, you want to think about what you're consuming, and then it might also be good to expand to other apps.
Yeah.
With different social media apps, many people get their news on social media, and what's important to remember there is that social media is a curated, algorithmically powered feed. You're probably going to be getting a lot of information that is going to feed or confirm your existing biases. And so looking for those outlets like KCAL, right? Looking for those outlets that are going to present both sides to a story, and just understanding that that is inherently how social media pushes content and news to you.
Yep.
Be sure to diversify those sources. That way you're getting the best information.
Really good information. Nick, thank you so much for being here. We always appreciate it. And you can find out more information about CNET by going to kcalnews.com, clicking Seen on TV.